Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines, where in the last episode we started building out our cargo harbor and oil industry. We added a new power plant and actually our weekly income has been steadily going up. We're still losing money, but we are getting into the greens every now and then, sometimes even with a peak up to 10,000. As you can see, most of the time it's still in the reds, but the oil industry has definitely helped us get out of the negative 40,000, negative 35,000 like it was in the last episode. So yeah, the only thing we need here is more workers to reach level 5, but all in all, as you can see, this is earning us about 20 grand a week. Then we have a unique factory that's earning us also like 2 grand a week. So this entire area together with the cargo hub is, you know, it makes us a lot of money. We still get down to the minus 20s, minus 25s every now and then, but as I said, it's not as bad as it was before last episode. So in today's episode, there are a couple of things that need doing. One of those things is we need to remove the level crossings, because now that we have cargo trains on the train network, it is too big, too busy of a rail network for level crossings. So this one needs to go. We already removed this one last episode. We just didn't detail it, we just overlapped it. So we'll have to make a bridge for cars or something like that over here. Then this one has to go. This one I think for now can stay. And I think that's about it. These ones aren't too busy either, though this doesn't look very well. So we might as well do something about this one while we're at it. Maybe there are a few more in the city. There are some level crossings over here as well. So maybe those need to be adjusted as well. We'll see. But this one and this one needs to go for sure. And then after that, we need more residential houses. We also could use a few more canals on this area. And this canal branches off into the river over here and into the river over here. So yeah, we definitely could use a few more canals over here, finish the network. Once we have done that, I want to finish this pedestrian street, which will be all shopping with houses in the back. And when that is done, I want to expand the tram network a little bit, because now the tram network goes from this station over here, then it goes like this, and then just follows the main road back to here. I think what we could do is we could let it go over here next to the train station, maybe add another stop here. So we have a stop for the university campus, and then pull it down over here and have a nice sightseeing attraction and a bigger tram stop over here as well before going back into the main network. So that is the plan for today. So let's start with our level crossings. All right, and here we are. One nice railroad bridge on this side. And if we follow the road a little bit, then we have another nice railroad bridge on this side. I didn't use any bridge pieces or tunnel pieces over here. Just used a brick network to create some walls, some nice rocks along the way to make sure the earth doesn't move. With some plants to keep it in place as a little bit of extra precaution. And now traffic over here can freely move without having to wait for a dozen trains every 5 minutes. I really like how this one is turned out. I used those tunnel entrance pieces. Really like how this formed like a diamond, a sort of half diamond shape in the middle. There is enough room for pedestrians to walk through. It's high enough for cars to walk through. Gives a nice little bridge texture over here. So yeah, really nice. Next to this part of town, which I haven't talked about yet, I think. This is part of the extra episode I did for my Patreon members. And this is what I'm going to call Billionaires Block. So in New York, you have Billionaires Row, which are the first row of skyscrapers along Central Park, I believe, if I'm correct. Not 100% sure, but this entire block from this building over here to this one, to this one, to this one, this is called Billionaires Block because, well, we have a park here and the buildings on this part of the block have a nice unobstructed view of the river, and when we start building over here, a nice view of the casinos and the hotels along the seashore. And the buildings on this side of the block, this will be a park as well, just as this one. They will have a nice, at least up until here, nice unobstructed view of the park and the schools. And it's a rather central point of the island. So you're not too far from the financial district. You're not too far from the university. You're not too far from the harbor and the cruise ship terminal. You're not too far from the soccer stadium. So yeah, this nice part, this middle part, which I still have to detail. Looking at it now, I still have to detail some trees and some plants. But this is Billionaires Block. This is the most expensive part of the entire city. And it looks pretty nice, if you ask me. So yeah, so the next step in finishing the main island, as I said, I want to extend the tram line so that it has a stop here alongside this train station for the university, and then pull it along on this side and make it hook up over here again. I also want to add a few more canals, so that is what we're going to do next. We're going to add some canals, we're going to extend the tram network and possibly create a park over here, add a few more houses over here, and yeah, start filling in the rest of this island. And here we are. I've created this nice little park on this side of Billionaire's Block. It's pretty small, pretty packed with a lot of things, just to get the entertainment value as high as possible. So we should reach level 5 as soon as there have been enough visitors. As you can see, it's making us a nice chunk of money, 2,000 a week and only 300 in expenses. Actually, I've been going around the city, touching up a few things, you know, resetting abandoned buildings, resetting burned down buildings, checking up on everything. And actually, our money is going up. When I started that about an hour ago, I was at 1.4 million, and for a while it hovered at around 1.4 million, but now it's been going up to 1.5, almost 1.6 now. So I think we are finally back at a stage in our city where there are enough residents who pay taxes and who works and do stuff. So yeah, we just have to keep an eye on some of the unique buildings. I turned a lot of them off. The soccer stadium, for instance, turned it off. It costs 4,000 a week. These buildings I turned off. Garbage has piled up over here. Not sure why. Maybe the garbage trucks can't reach through the parking lot road. You are still connected, are you? Yeah. No, same for this one. Maybe I need to switch them to the edge over here. Alright, don't get distracted. As I was saying, we built this nice little neighborhood. I used a lot of the same assets. This high density residential building from, I think it's from Smiles? Smileys? Not sure. Smileys, that's his name. And he has a whole lot of these cool modern looking buildings, so shout out to you, thanks for making these. So what I did is I wanted to emulate the feel of a city project that quickly and cheaply wanted to add more residential area. And what you often see when cities do that is they build a whole lot of these basically square blocks, even though these have little wavy front and back ends. But cities tend to build a whole lot of these square blocks right next to each other to get as many people as possible, as quickly as possible, into a home. So that's what I tried to emulate here. I also added a couple of these assets. And of course a hospital and a crematorium or cryopreservatory. So yeah, we also extended the tram network all the way down to here. So we now have a stop at the university, but I think we need another thing over here, because otherwise why would the tram line come all the way back down here if there is nothing to stop for over here? And I was thinking, we have a whole lot of unique buildings left that we haven't placed yet. And there are a couple of really cool ones that I definitely want to incorporate in the city. The theater, for instance, Grand Central Terminal. I think this one goes on over here somewhere, because I think this is where we're going to utilize metro. But for over here, I was looking through buildings that I have, and normally I don't use a whole lot of monuments because, well, some of them, they look pretty wacky. This one, for instance, I don't even know what it is. It's the fusion power plant. It looks ridiculous. Same goes for this one. Looks ridiculous. But the Eden project, actually, I think it doesn't look too bad. It's not too big, both in square meters and in height. And it looks like, you know, something you would see, you know, those shows on the Discovery Channel back in the day that would show extreme engineering things, it's extreme ideas for engineering. And I remember seeing things like Japan had a plan for building a pyramid in the water. The pyramid was like 1 kilometer high and it was full of skyscrapers inside and stuff like that, and could house 1 million people. This looks like something I would see in that show, and I actually think it will fit pretty well in our, you know, modern inspired city. So I think this one is perfect to be put down over here somewhere. And actually, the benefit of this is the monuments all fix some issue with your city, and the Eden project raises land value. And since we have been, struggling with land value in the past a little bit, oh look, we made some money. We can now almost afford the Doomsday Vault. But yeah, since we have struggled with land value in the past, because I put down any level house I can find that looks good without regards for its level, I think the Eden project is a nice one to put down, and both in looks and in functionality. And I think this over here is the perfect spot to do it. Now, the building has an area of effect if you hover over the city, but actually it affects the entire city when you put it down. So that is nice. It will cost us 6,400 a week. I don't know if we can afford that. If we can't afford it just yet, oh, that's all right. We've been losing money this entire series, so not that big of a deal. But since we are making money again now, I would like to keep it that way. But raising the land value also means people can pay more taxes, I believe. So maybe we can up the taxes a little bit. And, having a higher land value means no more abandoned buildings, more visitors, more tourists, more money coming in that way. So let's see what we can make of this. here it is, our little neighborhood with the Eden Project on it. We are still making money. Fortunately, when I plopped down the Eden Project, I was a little bit worried because it costs 6,400 a week. But when I plopped it down, we were down to 700,000 and now we're up to 1.1 million again. So we're still making money. The Eden Project has done its job perfectly. As you can see, the entire map is, well, greenish, and all the residential areas and along all the water edges, those are very bright green, which means it's the highest value. And hopefully that will stop any buildings like these from getting abandoned. They're still all here. This entire row would get abandoned because they're on the edge of town. Land value was lower than in the center of town, so these would all get abandoned pretty quickly. But the game's been running for a while now, and yeah, they're all still there. Nobody's complaining. So around the Eden Project, I used a whole lot medium height buildings. I also used some mixed use residential, which you can find on the workshop, also again by Smileys. He has some buildings that have no bottom or no top, and you can put them together and have commercial on the bottom, residential on top. I think that's pretty cool. Also some of these condos of his. Yeah, I wanted them to be not too high. Didn't want them to bury the Eden Project. I wanted to be nice and visible. I tried adding enough parking lots, but again, every single parking lot are full again. So probably added too few. This tram line now has a purpose. We can add a nice stop here, add a nice little plaza, the fantastic fountain. So yeah, people can go from this tram line, which I still need to put in, to the Eden Project or anywhere else. Added a public library. I think that is a nice little addition to this area. So yeah, the downside of these mixed use buildings is that the commercial on the bottom is creates noise. So the people on top, they get sick pretty quickly because of noise complaints. So if we look at noise, you see these buildings, these are commercial buildings, so they produce a lot of noise. So if you put a residential building right on top of them, yeah, of course people are gonna complain. Luckily there is a hospital pretty close by, so should be okay in this area. I think the rest of this island is going to be more of the same, more of this style of building, but with some more of the eco buildings thrown in, maybe some of the wall-to-wall buildings. And then this island over here and this island over here, these will be a little bit bigger buildings, I think, a little bit higher, maybe even as high as our billionaires block, which I still have to detail, by the way, now that I'm looking at it. So yeah, I think the next step of today's build is going to be filling out the rest of this island and these two islands. I don't know if I'm going to finish those today. I certainly hope so, because if we finish that, then we are almost connected. And only thing we have to do is this pedestrian area, add some of, actually, maybe that's a better thing to do for now. We can add some of the wall-to-wall commercial buildings alongside here. Maybe a little bit more shopping over here. And then we fill out the rest of this area, because I also still think we need one more canal over here, maybe alongside this main road. Maybe this main road needs to change a little. Also, this doesn't need to be a tram road anymore, but I think I'm going to keep it. So we can make a small loop over here, and then we have a big loop that goes all the way around. Then maybe we can have another small loop that goes from here to here. Maybe we should also connect them up here somewhere, so that we can make a couple of small loops and then have one line that goes through everything. I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, I'm definitely going to start with our pedestrian area over here, because we've put it down ages ago and it is such an empty stretch of road for people to walk from the train station to these pedestrian areas. So let's finish this one, shall we?